you Axis allies. No Limit here again. Time for part 4 of the Axis allies No Limits expansion enhanced global 1940 house rules and for YouTube float wars. Hooray! And so, like I said, it's part 4 of this tutorial of my proposed rules. And part 3 left off with the Japan's turn, but there's a couple things I want to add to that Japan turn I should have done before. When Japan attacked Malaya with their stuff, of course, as you see, they took it over, but the British had a few infantry and an AA gun. Now, the AA gun, in my rules, you can either have it one of two things. You can either, so of course, it's only for defense, only not offensively, of course. This was the British at the time. You could either declare this AA gun to be against aircrafts or declare it as an anti-tank gun or an AT gun against tanks. And the way it works against, of course, in this battle there was only one tank coming in and a few aircrafts coming in, so I chose it as an AA gun for the against the aircraft instead of the lonesome tank, because that would have been stupid. But let's say you wanted it against the tank, you can get that if you declare it an anti-tank gun, that tank gun would get up to 3 dice, just like a AA gun, up to 3 dice. Of course, there's only one enemy tank coming in, so he only gets 1 dice at it. And the anti-tank gun shoots after the attacker rolls for all their stuff. So, and afterwards, if you get it on 1, the tank already would have shot because they go first. But for the next round of battle, this is taken out if that AA gun hits it at a 1. So in the second round of battle, that would have been taken out. But such was not the case. But that's the way I have this anti-tank gun. So, and also another thing is that that same AA gun shot down an aircraft, a fighter of Japan's. It came in with a bomber, and a fighter. It shot down a bomber with his AA gun at the time. And I forgot to indicate that if your dive bomber or fighter is shot down over territory that's friendly to you before or after the battle, your pilot, you get to roll a dice to see if that pilot survives. So it was a fighter that was at the time that was shot down. So they get to roll dice. So let's see if the pilot survives. Between 1 and 3, and since I got the territory, Japan got the territory, it's friendly to them now, so they get to roll the dice. But if they didn't capture that territory, then that land territory, then they wouldn't have been able to roll for their pilot shot down dice. But between 1 and 3, let's see if the pilot survives. Nope, it doesn't. It's a 4. But if it was a 1, 2, or 3, your pilot survives, and then your next build of a fighter, in this case it would have been a fighter, the cost would have been down to 7 to build. And your next fighter build, instead of a 10, would have been down to 7. Now if it was a dive bomber or tactical bomber, if you will, it would cost you an 8 for your next dive bomber purchase. So that's the way I have it. So in that case, Japan's turn was now over. Now it's the end. Well, the Far East Command's turn, since Japan declared unprovoked war. India and Australia's economy are combined, with the exception of, let's see, Australia started with 10 for this coming round. If it has to spend at least 5 or save 5 each round, each turn, to and spend on or save on Australia's expenditure. That way, all the money can't be spent to India. And since they're able to combine their economies now, I'm going to do so. And so they took these 2 territories. See, Australia took 1, and India took this. But concerning captured territories, IPC is going to be shared between Australia or India, or go to one or the other. And in this case, I'm going to spend most of it on India, which is 28. So I would buy what? I would buy 9 men. I'm not going to put it on the board because I'm not going to go another round for the British or the Far East Command anyways. This will be my last video, probably for the Pacific setup. So I'm going to buy 9 men, and ANZAC part of the Far East Command has to spend 5, but it's going to have added 1. Since they have what? 6 to spend. So I'm going to spend it on, let's see, I'll spend it on transport. And I'm not going to put it down. So I'm going to declare a battle now. And since the Far East Command takes their turn together, I'm going to attack Java Sea Zone. And from the India side, it's going to take what? 1 from Burma, 1, 2, 3, and can legally land Java since it's theirs. And his bomber is coming in as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, and his fighters are off a airbase. 1, 2, 3, 4, and he can land on the island. And from from Australia, off an airbase, these 3 fighters are coming in as well. 1, 2, 3, and they're coming in. And remember that cruiser that was upgraded to a heavy cruiser? That's coming in off a sea base. 1, 2, 3. And since it's upgraded to a heavy cruiser, it's considered a capital ship and can take 1 damage, and on its defense it gets 1 gunshot. So also I'm going to take this destroyer from Season 54, 1 and 2. It's going to go in there as well. And so since the Far East Command owns Java, there's nowhere where these Japanese planes can land if their carriers is damaged as per rules. But in this battle, let's see, I'm coming in what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 aircrafts. And this bomber, since has a matching there's a matching defensive capital warship, it brings this bomber from a 4 down to a 2. Because in the real war, bombers that attack warships, especially capital warships, they didn't do too well because they're far above in the sky, and it's hard to hit the sea vessels from thousands of feet up. So they weren't very accurate in their attacks against sea vessels. So that's what I'm proposing in this game, but only against capital warships, of course, not small vessels like a transport or a destroyer or a regular cruiser. When an updated cruiser, yeah, that's capital warship. So hey, and now let's see. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 units attacking Japanese. And Japanese, they can since this is round 2. Their capital warships are fitted with AA guns. In my rows, each of my aircraft carriers gets 2 AA shots in the first round of battle. So I got 2 for this one and 2 for them. Ordinarily, the battleship would have an AA shot too, but since it was damaged in the takeover of the Java Sea Zone, it's damaged, so it don't get an AA shot. So that's part of the penalties of once a capital warship is, such as a battleship, is damaged. They don't get an AA shot. They don't do no bombardments, and they go down in their defense and offensive attacks. So instead of a 4, this battleship goes down to 3 until it's repaired. And if it's not repaired, so its defense is at a 3, and it get no AA shot either. So I'm not going to roll the die. Well, I got 2. I do get 2 dice for each carrier. That's 4 altogether. Let's see what I get. 4 AA shots. The first round of battle, of course. They get nothing. Let's see. They still got nothing. Yeah. Look at that. 5. Finally. Let's say I got an AA shot, okay? Let's just say that. And since this bomber only attacks at a 2 instead of a 4, because there's capital warships, there's a matching capital warship against it, it goes down to a 2, so I'm just going to take this out as a casualty. And I did about I think about 3 or 4 rounds of battle against this, and the Japanese lost. They lost everything. And since they couldn't land their planes on Java, they elected to take their fighters out first before their carriers, because if they took out the carriers, the British would just retreated out, and so the fighters and dive bombers would have been sunk anyway. So everything with the Japanese was killed, and since this takes 2 damage, they upgraded cruiser to a heavy cruiser. It gives you added casualty, 1 added casualty for yourself. So the British survive with just a fighter and a dive bomber. So, but they did lose what? They lost 4 fighters. And the Japanese, they lost 2 dive bombers, and they lost 2 fighters. Now in sea zones, it's a little different. It's a little different than over land territory. In sea zones, the defender can roll for their aircrafts, because since a sea zone is more vast open space than a land territory, that's the way I chose to do it. That's the way I have it on, because you can't really control the holes every inch of the sea zone. So these pilots defensive pilots get a chance to survive. So let's see if they survive. So they get what? 2 dice for their fighters will be white dice, and these 2 red ones will be for their dive bombers. Let's see. It'll be, well, and in this case, it'll be down to a 2 for defenders over a sea zone. So they got to hit a 1 or a 2 or for each individual pilot to survive. Let's see what I get. Crap. Down on the floor. Yeah, you. Come on. That's my Stooges clock. So I'm going to roll for that. For the defenders. It's got to be a 1 or 2. Whoa, look at that. Fighters missed. But the dive bombers, they survived. The pilots survived. That means on the next dive bomber or tactical bomber builds, if you will, both of them will be at an 8 since they both survived. So the next build will be at 8 instead of 11 for Japan. Now for the British, since they control the sea zone now, their dice is up at a 3. Let's see if they survive. One does. One fighter survives, one pilot survives, the other don't. So on their next purchase of a fighter, it's a set. It would cost them a 7 instead of a 10. It'll be a 1 or 3 since they control the sea zone. Defenders are a little different over a sea zone. There's a 1 and 2. And in this case, the dive bombers, pilots, they survived for the Japanese. How about that? So I should have done this way. I'm gonna buy a dice. I still have a token for the token dice anniversary style. I'm gonna roll for my technology. Let's see if I get it. It'll be at a 5 or 6 now, since the first roll was unsuccessful. So the second one will be 5 or 6. Let's see if I get it. Nope, it's a 3. So that means now the next roll will be at a 4. Still have your token, but now the next roll will be a 4, 5, and 6. And let's say I march all these guys in here. Yeah, I'm not going to bother moving anything else. Alright, so it'll be the U.S. turn. So, U.S. are going to also buy a dice. Dice. They already got their, they already bought one token. They already bought a token from last round. They missed. So it'll be a 5 and a 6. But let's say they want to buy another token, okay? They want to buy another token. So it ensures them of a better roll. So both those tokens will be rolled at 5 or 6. So they bought another token, so they got 2 tokens. Let's see what they get. 5 or 6. Oh, they got a 6. So those tokens are gone, and they choose, let's say they choose long-range aircrafts, okay? But they cannot use it until the 4th round, though. So America got long-range aircrafts now. Hooray! So now they're not going to do battle. And so, since they're at war, they get to use a sea base. 1, 2, 3 into the Philippine sea zone. And they're going to take also a destroyer, even though it has a man on it. It's still going to attack, even though it has cargo on it. Since it's calling off a sea base, it goes 1, 2, 3 as well. But if it wasn't a sea base there, and it has a man on there, it can only go 2 spaces. Otherwise, without cargo, a destroyer can go 3 spaces with the benefit of a sea base or not. Well, a sea base can't make it a 4 though. Sea base cannot promote more than a 3, so it can't go 4 spaces. if it was empty of cargo. But in this case, it came off a sea base, has a man on it, still goes 3, 1, 2, 3. The reason why I have it, these two, just the submarines, because in my rows, it's a little different of defensive transports. I never liked defensive transports being auto kills. I always hated that rule. So, like as in similar to what Sireblood has in his BBR rules, if you pair up one transport with another, it gets a one single die roll of 1. But in my rules, that single die roll would only be against aircrafts. So they get no, since no aircrafts are coming into this battle, they get no dice. But, and they're considered defenseless. But if they're declared defenseless, then they got to endure 1 round of battle against any ships attacking it, or aircrafts, if you will. But in this case, it's just a submarine and a destroyer. Destroyer can still attack with cargo on it, though, but it can't land it. And if it gets sunk, it gets sunk. Eh? But it won't get sunk in this situation because these are defenseless transports. So I guess I get 2 dice. Roll at 2. Let's see if Japanese survive it. They do not. It's 2. Lucky rolls. So those 2 transports are sunk. But let's say I only got 1 hit. Let's see, one of them is a 6. That, since it endured 1 round of battle, that transport could go into any other sea zone that's not under battle and is friendly. And let's say I would have chose Formosa, Guam is a friendly sea zone, Palau, Celebes, Borneo, or sea zone 36. But in this situation, it's sunk. So, because they both got it. And early battle, I'm going off a sea base. I'm going to go here. Of course, I'm going to attack that. Bring that baby there. Going to Iwo Jima. I got 2 transports. They're going to carry 2 men. A man in artillery. Iwo Jima would be mine. And with the destroyer, it's going to take a man, since 1, 2, 3. It's going to land in Iwo Jima as well. And since the destroyer is accompanied by a surface warship with the battleship, it also gets to land there as well, amphibiously. So, and as you know, Iwo Jima has a kamikaze symbol on it, but in my rules, kamikazes can't be activated to the 5th round, since kamikazes were originally a desperate defensive weapon. And in the earlier wars, like 1940, 41, they would never have considered their situation desperate in this game or otherwise. So that's why you would have to wait until the 5th round, the latter part of 1942, in order to activate the kamikaze. So this is round 2, so that kamikazes aren't activated, so they don't get to attack any warships here. But kamikazes do select transports if they wanted to. They could target select a transport if they wanted to, in my rules for kamikazes, if the situation called for it. Okay, so but since it's not, then yeah. Okay, so let's say I destroyed this destroyer in 16, also got my destroyer as well, so that's both gone. Yeah, let's see. I'm going to non-combat these babies here. Now these are considered heavy cruisers because I upgraded both of them last round. So they're capital warships. And they take a damage each. They get an AA fire shot as well. Alright, so I'm not going to collect anything for America. Let's go for China. Now it's round 3. Round 3. I'm going to buy 4 men and artillery since the Burma Road is still open. And I'm going to attack Hui Chao, let's say, with 2 men and my 2 fires. Let's say I destroy all 3, but you also killed my 2 infantry, so it's Hui Chao still Japanese control. Of course, I'm going to land these babies here. Put the stuff from Shexhuan to Yunnan. And put down my units in Yunnan as well. Let's see. The combined British and Chinese force in Yunnan, it's a pretty formidable force. Because all that stuff is coming in of the Japanese. So it's pretty mighty tempting for the Japanese to attack Yunnan, but not really because it's pretty formidable. So let's, being round 3, I see the Chinese just have their turn. Now Japan. Japan's turn now, alright? Okay, it's also going to buy a die. It's going to buy a token. He already got technology of super carries, but it can't be activated to round 4 anyways. But he still can buy more tech now. So he's going to buy a token. He's going to roll their dice. Let's see if they get it. And no, they don't. It's a 1. So the next round, that token would be a what? Where is that at? It would be at a 5 or 6 roll. Excellent. That's out. All right, and let's see. I'm just going to do. And also, I'm going to upgrade my cruiser. So I'm going to upgrade this cruiser because it's going to go 1, 2, 3 off this CZO 19. It has a factory worth 3 or more. And it can't be upgraded at a factory of 3 or more. In my non-combat move, I'll move that there. It'll be upgraded to a heavy cruiser, which costs 5. And also, since his heavy tank was damaged last round, it's automatically, beginning of the round, fully repaired. You don't have to even be at a factory, just any territory it started the round with. So it's automatically repaired, this heavy tank. And let's see. Let's say I go. Oh, that's taken care of. Yeah, I could go after Yunnan, but I'm not going to because this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do one battle. Since I bought 3 submarines last time, they're going to go. There's no destroyer to block me this time because it got destroyed in CZone 16. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 against those 2 heavy cruisers. There's no destroyer to protect them, but the heavy cruisers do take 1 damage each. But since in my rules, if you combine 3 submarines, you can form them into a wolf pack, and only in the first round of battle they attack at 3. In the second round of battle it'll be down to 2. But only in the first round of battle, 3 submarines combined, you get to attack at 3. And since there's no destroyers in the C zone, they also could target select as well. So I'm gonna roll for my 3 submarines. Let's see what I get. 3 or less. Fingers. Every single one of them missed. Look at that. Okay, now the destroyers had... the cruisers... Heavy cruisers had 3 or less. Son of a gun. Look at that. Inconceivable. Oh, baby. And, of course, Severin will just retreat out of that. That was terrible. Oh, well. Okay, let's say I'm doing my non-combats. So since I paid for an upgrade for this cruiser, it's going to go... It has to be at a factory now of a 3 or less. And I already have one off of Shanghai. 1, 2, 3. Since it's got a sea base off Malaya. So let's upgrade it to a heavy cruiser now. In other words, it's considered capital warship. Okay, and since like in let's see, what's his face is Sire Blood's railroads starting at a factory. He can move these 3 spaces up to his factory's value. So let's say I want to go to I want to travel 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. I go to Indochina. That's where I'll go. Yeah, that's it. And of course, it can't go to just capture territories, which was, I think, Shensi. What was it? Because Shensi wasn't mine at the time, at the beginning of this round. So it couldn't go 1, 2, 3. It has to be in a territory that was yours at the beginning of the round in order to be railroad to. And now since I got 2 factories, I'm going to railroad. Let's see, off of Korea, that's worth 3. I got 3 infantry. I go 1, 2, 3. In Chahar, because that was mine. And this third one, I'm going to go 4 spaces like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a Kiangsu or Shanghai, because in the fourth, under my rules, it could be a 4th space if that 4th space ends at a factory. So that's what I'm going to do. From Korea to Shanghai, it's 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, if it's 4 spaces, it can go 4 spaces if that 4th space is at another factory. So that's what I'm going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's slightly different than Sire Bloods. I think it's good. So, I think I explained pretty much everything in the Pacific. Let me see what else I explain here. Going a half hour turn, so I'm going to do this quickly. Okay, so Japan needs 7, or for Japan to have declare victory in the Pacific, they have to have 7 victory cities, and Shasquan is considered a victory city. So that they have 7 instead of 6. Also, if they, as part of one of Japan's NOs, if they have all of China's original 12 territories, if they control all of them, they get 5 IPCs more in NOs. And in order for Japan to take away the Far East Command's IPCs away, it has to control both India and South or Calcutta and Sydney in order to take away all their IPCs away. So they just took out just India or just Sydney. They don't get all their IPCs. So to get India and Sydney's factories, take all their IPCs away for Japan. So I'm going to just end this and stay tuned for part 5 of my expansion series. And it'll be next time it'll be on the Europe setup, since I think I've explained everything for the Pacific. pretty much. If any guys got any questions, just put in the comment section. Anything relevant, I'll try to answer them. And if you want to see part 1, 2, 3, or the introductory of my expansion series, just go to my channel playlist under customizations, house rules, and variants. It'll be right under there. And the introductory video will have all the rules to it in the comment section as well. So that's it. See you next time. No living out.